Hey all, here are OS Reviews. You're watching our quick hands-on review of the OVEVO Q80. These are TWS wireless earbuds, which sell for around 45 bucks, and the interesting thing is really about the design and the aesthetics. I'll show you guys that later on, but it reminds me of an egg. It's kind of a bizarre look, but also reminds me of jewelry in a sense. It's super shiny and reflective. Otherwise, we are talking about using the latest Bluetooth 5.0. There are 6mm drivers inside, and it also claims to have IPX7 waterproofing, so you can take a shower with it, use them to the gym, and it should still survive. The earbuds themselves will last for about 5 hours when fully charged, and then the battery case can get you around 2 to 3 charges when on the road. So we're not talking about the largest capacity. In fact, the combined battery life with the case is only going to be around 20 hours. That's about average compared to, say, the Apple AirPods or the Redmi AirDots, but again, this is not going to be the longest lasting or endurance king compared to some larger cases we've checked out. OVEVO is a company that's based in Shenzhen, China, and we've checked out one of their other pairs of TWS earbuds. It was called the Q62 and had a rotating battery case design, which was also very unique. So they specialize in TWS technology and have made many of these wireless earbuds. And again, it's basically an egg as far as the shape and the overall dimensions are concerned. Anyways, inside we have the accessories. That includes a USB Type-C charging cable. Always nice to see that they're not using the older micro USB. And we have also spare silicone tips to get a more custom fit. So taking a closer look at the design of the battery case, it's very distinctive and might not be to everyone's cup of tea. It does attract fingerprints pretty easily and it is extremely shiny. On the rear of the battery case, it is constructed out of a polycarbonate plastic. It says OVEVO Sport and Music, which is the company's slogan. Now this case does not have Qi wireless charging, so you can't put it onto a wireless charging mat and top it up, just like the Apple AirPods, for example. But otherwise, it relies on the USB Type-C port for charging, and you can charge up the battery case in around 2.5 hours. Otherwise, the metallic egg-like surface is made out of metal, so it does feel quite solid. Now there's a slight lip on the side because you have to open it like this, so it opens essentially sideways. The lid itself is also magnetic, so it closes with a satisfying click, and otherwise the hinge itself also opens up a little bit more after opening up the battery case like so. Inside, the design of the earbuds continue the exterior shape, which is like an egg, and they're also magnetic, so we can remove it and pop them back in with a satisfying click. That's when they turn off and will begin charging, as you can see there. So just as a quick size comparison, here it is next to the Apple AirPods, so you can see that it's a little bit larger, but not by too much. We are talking about a relatively small battery case. Here they are next to the Redmi AirDots, and they're also very similar. So this is something that tucks away pretty easily into pockets and jeans. Taking a closer look at the earbuds, as aforementioned, they are also very shiny, and they do have a nice rubber accent on the back, as well as these little bumps on the sides, which allows them to act essentially as wings inside of your ears. They provide some extra resistance, and they prevent them from falling out. In fact, these are extremely snug fitting. Some of the most snug, in fact, out of the past few earbuds I've tried out. So I could shake my head, I could walk, jog, and run, and they still stayed really snugly into my ears. So I'm definitely a fan of the design of these micro wings, which by the way can also be removed if you want to swap it for a different size, which they include in the packaging. Finally, just a quick size comparison with the Redmi AirDots, and we can see that they are about the same. So indeed, these are very portable in terms of their size. And here are the Apple AirPods. Moving into audio quality and performance, the Q80s don't disappoint. The latest Bluetooth chip means that there's very little audio latency, so you can play and pause the track quickly when you're watching, say, a YouTube clip, and the audio and video stays synced really well between the left and right sides. Otherwise, it doesn't have the most bass in the world. It certainly isn't the richest or thumpiest, but as far as the earbuds go, they're perfectly acceptable. That does mean, however, that mids and highs have more room to shine, and in particular, I think mids are represented really well. They're very clear, and there's very little hints of distortion or static. In fact, it's almost completely silent. You really won't hear any hiss or hum in the background. Overall, it does really well with acoustic type music and has a very natural sound that's also quite dynamic and relatively loud and open as you crank up the volume. So above average sound for sure. I'd say it's cleaner sounding than the Redmi AirDots and also a bit more natural or neutral sounding than the Apple AirPods. One thing I also like about these would be the touch sensitive controls that you can tap on very gently to play and pause your music and to skip tracks. They're integrated into the sleek chrome design, and this worked really well in my testing, although you'll still need to turn to your phone's volume rockers to raise the volume higher or lower. It has CVC noise reduction, so if you're in a really loud zone, it tries to reduce the ambient sound and pick up your voice a little bit more. However, the microphones are still quite far away from your mouth because these are quite small earbuds. So the overall quality, I'd say, is comparable to that of the Apple AirPods. So that's more or less it for our hands-on review of the OVEVO Q80. Overall, I think that these are pretty solid, true wireless earbuds that more than anything are about the design of the battery case. That's lightweight, snug-fitting, and very portable for traveling and transportation. I think that these are going to be a nice choice. Sound quality is also above average when it comes to clarity. Overall, battery life would be one of its weaknesses, again, lasting for around 5 hours per charge. It's a little shorter than some of the competition, and the capacity of the battery case itself, giving you only around 2 to 3 charges, is also not the highest. So if you need an endurance king, there are probably other options available that you can check out. And again, it doesn't have the most unique or smart features in the world. It is very simple and straightforward, focusing exclusively on music. So overall, again, if you are a fan of the design, I would say that the sound quality is solid, and you can take a closer look in the links down below. But for now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the distinctive OVEVO Q80 egg-shaped TWS earbuds.